Is there's over 100 countries that are developing their own central bank digital currency, and that's built on blockchain. That's cryptocurrency. So in the next 2 years, I'm pretty sure most of Europe, Asia, the UK, they're in their pilot phase right now. So we're going to move from a fiat system to this new monetary system that's going to be using cryptocurrency and blockchain technology.
Now, talking about that, do you think they are trying to push that narrative as well because they want to try and have more control in terms of the way money is spent? They can track it, it's traceable, and it's like they could almost punish you for doing certain things.
100%, yes. So central bank digital currencies is where it gets scary because it's programmable. It's also trackable. So every transaction that anyone makes, they can see. And it can get really, really scary depending on, how far, governments want to go and central banks want to go. It can become a situation where they can actually block you from spending money, or they can cap you on like how much money you spend on, petrol, for example, or, can stop you from traveling abroad, all of that kind of stuff. That's how like scary it could get. Yeah, they have the capability. Not saying that they are going to do that, but the capability is there. But
on your second point, I tend to share your views. Nature doesn't like vacuum. And we started working on the digital euro way back. Actually, when I started my term 5.5 years ago. And I'm not claiming, parentality on the digital euro, because my colleague Benoît Cœuré had already committed a speech on this matter before I arrived. But I certainly carried on with that project, and subsequently Fabio Panetta on the board and then Piero Cipollone, who has replaced Fabio, have taken the lead together with a very, very good team which is focused on accelerating the pace and hopefully campaigning enough with all the stakeholders, meaning European Parliament, meaning European Council, meaning European Commission, so that we can eventually, not put to bed, but put to reality this digital euro. The deadline for us is going to be October of 25. And we are getting ready for that deadline, but we will not be able to move unless the other parties, the stakeholders, as I call them, Commission, Council, and Parliament, actually complete the legislative process, without which we will not be able to move. And I think it is critically important, and it seems to the agnostic or the skeptics, it seems to be more relevant and more of an imperative now than ever before, both on the wholesale and on the retail level, both.
And is it's going to be integrated, let me say so, on the existing blockchain, or you guys are thinking about some outstanding system in regards of digital art?
Yeah, it's a great question. So basically the technology that we're creating for the digital lari is a private blockchain, but it's based on the technology used in the public blockchain. So the public blockchain that we use is called the XRP ledger. It's a publicly available open source blockchain technology. And what we do for each country we're working with, we create a new private version. So you can only use the blockchain if you are permissioned to do so. So we've got, the advantage of that is the XRP ledger technology is proven. It has been processing billions of transactions. But central banks like to have things a little bit more private. So we have created a private version. So it's a little bit of a hybrid, to answer your question.
But definitely it's absolutely independent platform which is specifically performed for each project where you evaluate.
Yes, yeah.
Morgan is launching a biometrics-based payment system for merchants. Listen very carefully to this quote from the report. Quoting, Its biometrics-based payment pilot includes palm and face identification for payments authentication in store and works on an enroll, capture, authenticate, pay basis. They make it so convenient. They make it infinitely more inconvenient to do what they don't want you to do anymore.
First came the credit card swipe and then the tap, and now just a wave of the hand can process a payment.
So the future just keeps coming. Let's check in with
fast.
Jason Carr in the carport. Jason, what the mark of the beast is going on?
At a time when Elon Musk has monkeys playing Pong with their brains, scientists are growing half monkey, half human embryos, and UFOs are becoming a more real phenomenon. This seems on par or even a bit subdued by comparison or contrast. Amazon is rolling out palm scanners at one of its Whole Foods stores in Seattle. The technology, called Amazon One, allows shoppers to pay for their purchases by holding their hands above a scanner. Before you can use it, you have to give the company your credit card information and palm print. Amazon has been testing the system at its Amazon Go and Amazon Go grocery stores. The company plans to bring it to 8 Seattle area Whole Foods stores in the coming months.
Is that it?
That's it.
A $4.25, please.
All right. Let's see. Kenny, keep your mask on.
Sorry, we don't take cash.
Okay. 1 second. Is that me?
Sorry, we don't take card either.
I'm sorry? What am I supposed to use?
Can you step to the side so you can figure this out?
Can I speak to your manager? No! Excuse me. Do you guys take checks?
We don't need it.
I have the money.
We don't need it.
Okay, what the hell is that? When was that implemented? I don't have that.
Sorry, but we're cashless now. I had to implement the new system just to stay in business.
It's okay, Mom. You don't need it. Let's just go.
I hope you understand. Oh, but hey, if you want to check out Mike's Corner store right up the street, you might have some luck.
Thank you.
My responsibility was project leader or the senior project engineer. We began to work on the design of a microchip that, when it was completed, was 0.75 millimeters in diameter, 7 millimeters long. It was the size of 1/4 of a grain of rice. Again, I want to say that I was not a Christian and there were no Christians there. They said they wanted this to have a power source and be able to emit a signal. And they told us they wanted us to use lithium as a battery source. Lithium's used in watch batteries, it's used in heart pacemaker batteries, it's used in a lot of places. I designed into this microchip a little charging circuit that would charge that battery. This sounds like a lot of technical things coming together, but if you'll bear with me 1 minute, you'll see what God has laid out about this microchip. When we discovered that we needed to be able to charge that battery, I needed a temperature change, a change in temperature to cause current to flow through that little charging circuit that would charge the battery. So we began to investigate and find out where in the body does the temperature change the most rapidly. We spent over $1 million in taxpayer money, and when the results came back, there was a lot of information. We divided it up amongst 3 teams, and then came back together with that information. It was determined that there were two places in the body that were ideal for the microchip. One was just below the hairline on the forehead. Every mother checks their child's temperature right here. So we could have paid the mothers $1 million and saved I never saw a mother check their child's temperature on their ankle. Always right here. The other place was the hand, the right hand preferred, because most people are right-handed. This didn't bother me, and it didn't bother anybody else on the team. The hand seemed a good place. Nobody wanted it here. And so the design work, everything was completed. The microchip was done. You're seeing it now on some of the Discovery Channel presentations. There are people who have received it already. It is real. It's not something that's coming way down the road. They gave me a Bible. They told me not to read the book of Revelation. They said the book of Revelation is too hard to understand. So I waited, and I didn't read the book of Revelation for quite some time. Then one day I came to Revelation 13, verse 16. And he caused us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. I didn't like what I saw. I went back and looked up the word mark. I went to the Strong's Concordance, and I found that John had used three words for the word mark. Charagma, Charicator, and Charax. That was from the Greek. I looked at those words. They talked about a scratch or an etching. They talked about a lot of things. And I said, God, this isn't it. We didn't do it. He said, go to the word for 666. The word is chixestigma. In the Greek, it says to go to 4742 as a cross. The last half of the word chixestigma. And when I looked at what it says stizo, i.e. to stick, to prick, a mark incised or punched into for recognition of ownership. I thought about the little injection tool. The end of it is called an incisor. I began to weep and I began to cry, and I said, oh God, what have we done? I couldn't believe that this lined up with what we had developed. And I began to run from God. I didn't run away from the church, I ran into the church. I tried to do as many things as I could to atone for this. But I want to tell you something, as God is my witness here tonight, this got in the way. Money got in the way. I had beautiful homes overlooking the lake. I had all the things that I wanted. And I ran because of the money. My ability to go and get $250,000 in research money took me away from telling the message. I ran for many years. What I want to tell you is that this is real. The microchip implant is real. Credit cards are failing. They can be counterfeited. The new smart card can be counterfeited. They can be stolen. They can be lost. All kinds of things can happen to a card. But you cannot lose your hand. Very quickly they're going to move to this being in the hand. And I tell you, as a Christian, you cannot take this. No matter what anybody says, God's word says you cannot take it. No matter what they try to talk you into, God's word says don't take it. In Revelation 14, verse 9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. It's very simple. God's word says to do not take it. Today there have been over 15,000 babies that have been given the positive identification, the microchip. Many companies are using the microchip as identification in their top-level employees. The Immigration Naturalization Service has a better passport, the human hand. So many of these things are all around us. We talk about the signs of the New World Order. God has spelled out in His Word just exactly what's going on today in the New World Order. Satan desires to have a one-world government. From the time he fell, he said, I want a one-world government. He wants to replace God. And so we see a government put together by men, a one-world government. The signs of the times are all around us.